Welcome to the Pipeline Podcast. Today is July 8th, and we're coming at you with another Epstein update. So, if you watched the last video, we went over the 10 hours of footage that they released on Epstein. There are some discrepancies with the video. A minute missing. There's some other stuff too. We'll look into that a little later in the video. Also, everyone's very mad about apparently there's no client list. So that also upset a lot of people. What we're going to start off with is this video here. Trump and Pam Bondi are like doing this thing in a room, doing like a meeting or something, and they get asked about Epstein. So this is kind of where we're going to start off.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night staff?
Yeah, sure.
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
You've probably seen already headlines about like Trump angrily like interrupts meeting to like rant about the Epstein files or something like that. Like people try to make it like a hit piece on him. But you just saw the video. He put his 2 cents in, which is stop talking about it. So that's what we should be talking about.
That is like the biggest joke ever. This is a typical tactic of anyone who's lying or trying to not give a truthful answer, is to deflect, right? That's all he's doing, is deflecting. That makes it even worse for him, honestly. His constituency is already mad at him for this. I don't think he's doing himself any favors with that kind of rhetoric.
Absolutely. Yeah, like the MAGA base is so mad about these Epstein files. Like it's not the tea. It's not the juice, these files. Trump's just here saying, oh, like, don't worry about it anymore. We're on to the next thing about Texas.
And then to even say that is just like so ignorant of what's been going on in the news.
Yeah, did
right?
they even watch the video that was released by the FBI?
Well,
I mean,
we've been waiting for this video for a month and a half, 2 months at this point, and so now they release it. Now there's a minute missing and some like ripple cut in there. The video isn't even of his cell because, as we all know, like that the actual camera that was pointed at his cell wasn't working, right? So that's one of the main reasons why we have this tape. So it's just like a big joke. And then for someone to say like, oh, you have actual discrepancies with something that we said versus the videotape that we put out. Well, why? Isn't there so many other things you could be talking about?
Right.
That is just classic deflection. I don't want to answer this because I can't answer this. Politician speak.
Yeah, and I don't have to answer this, so we're just going to move on. So let's see what Pam Bondi says about it.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file, along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also to the...
That actually might be a good point, because we've seen other files get released, like the JFK files, that was also another nothing burger. So it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that these Epstein files are the same. Just a hot take.
Tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the Evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Can someone explain what she just said to me? Is she trying to say that there's a vulnerability inside this
Yes.
facility's camera
Yes,
system
that Epstein was being held in. Yes, she is.
that just every day there's since 1999, or because they're
33.
using 20 or however many 30-year-old cameras or something? Like, what are we trying to say here? These are people in positions of power, and this is what they're trying to tell you is the truth. What kind of joke shit ass slop is this?
I know. Yeah, I actually am like like I'm cracking up. This video is so funny. I want to go back to how she ended the video.
It's missing every night, and that's it on Epstein.
That's not it. We're not done yet, Pam Bondi. That is not it.
She wants us to be done.
So does Trump. Yeah, they just want it to be done. Super conspiracy led, but I'm sure most people agree. All the pedophiles in the government told Trump and Pam Bondi not to release like the real files, and that's why we're not getting them.
Or you have to consider the fact that Epstein actually had no client list. There was nothing him linking to any high powerful or high profile people or countries or agencies whatsoever, and he just decided to kill himself because it was a smart idea.
Yeah,
That's what they want you to believe.
and that doesn't even make sense. That's like, because we know, like, there's just already been like so much evidence dropped in like the Epstein case. Like, we know there was like flight logs. Like, give us more flight logs. You could say that could be his like client list. Like, put real effort into something and like make something up so that people actually believe it. Like this video, they don't even say like, oh, this video is looking at the hallway, like Epstein is over here. Also, the video doesn't even show like when he gets found. So like it cuts off at like 6:40. All the information we had before that video is like Epstein gets found sometime after 6:30. But the video goes till 6:40, and it's like it doesn't really show anything. We're just going to talk about this kind of stuff today. We also have some ICE updates. Also, another thing that people are forgetting about this whole Epstein case, Epstein conspiracy theory, the Epstein files, is there were a lot of victims, and every time the government just fails to like get justice like for these victims, it's just a stab in the back to like these hundreds of victims and like families. Like, it's actually like a really big deal to a lot of people. And then Epstein being like the biggest conspiracy in the world right now, and all the like media attention it gets, like, just doesn't really help either. So I think it's important to point that out.
Because that just insinuates that either these high profile people or people with a lot of money and power can just do these things without any consequences, which is terrible, or it means that the government's in on it and actively covering it up. So either of those is not good for the average person.
Yeah, that's facts. We have here a tweet from Roger Stone and a response by Elon Musk. Roger Stone says, why would Bannon meet with Epstein both at his New York home and in Paris after Epstein was convicted on sex crimes in Florida? Why would he coach Epstein for his 60 Minutes appearance? And Elon Musk says, or maybe that was a reply. Sorry, that's a reply to Elon Musk saying Bannon is in the Epstein files. So like Elon pops in here with all this Epstein drama going on right now, and Elon starts saying some other stuff, because we have another tweet from him where he's like talking about Trump being in the Epstein files, and then we have him saying Bannon's in the Epstein files, and like I think he believes like that's why we got this shitty video and we didn't get the client list. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, especially Trump's 180 on not wanting to turn over the information we have to the public, or just him, his Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, just not following through on promises. This, one of the reasons could be that he is indeed implicated in those, and that is something that you very seriously have to consider. So,
yeah, like if they're not going to tell us exactly what the deal is, and if they're not actually going to release real like Epstein information, then that's why conspiracies like this get created.
Because something's happening.
Something's happening that we're not allowed to know.
If they would say, "Hey, we screwed up. This is what actually happened," it would be the American people would accept it way more than if they just don't say anything, because it just looks very suspicious. And our government has a track record of doing bad things in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and all throughout the 2000s, and no one's ever gone to jail and there hasn't been any oversight for it. But I'm sure that they just decided to right now do the correct thing.
Yeah, I think it's another one of those things. Like in 30 years, we'll get the full story. Like,
and that's most likely because everyone who is involved or is a major like decision maker in those things will be dead or about to die.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, here's where I think this is where the minute skips that they were talking about in that first video we watched. So yeah, it skips that last minute there, and she's saying, which like what she's saying is a believable story, that it's an old camera and it like rewrites every day and it fucks up that minute. But here's the thing, Epstein, if that's the kind of facility that Epstein was being kept in, then this video just confirms that the facility he was in is not secure. And so it just adds more fuel to the fire that Epstein didn't kill himself. And so like,
what if he was put in that facility specifically because they knew that there's a 1 minute lapse in their CCTV or something stupid like that, right?
Right. Yeah, like the security is obviously aware of that. Like they must have known that. And so that vulnerability could be taken advantage of.
And let's just say that someone didn't go in there to go kill Epstein. You know, there is always the chance that it was some high-ranking Mossad official or whatever other intelligence agency that he belonged to, which is most likely Mossad. They could have just gone in there and told him to kill himself or threatened him or whatever too. You know, it could have been a 30-second conversation, dude's in and out. You don't know. But then again, you can't even tell because we don't get to see his jail cell.
Yep. Yeah, we don't know. We can only create conspiracy theories. And the FBI had like 6 years to release this footage, and they really couldn't even like look through this video and notice that a minute was skipping and like give us an explanation about it. Like, don't let the public find out and then have to like be on defense about it and give us some bullshit excuse, or just like tell us not to worry about it anymore and say that's the end of it. You obviously know people are going to go crazy over this video. We've been waiting on it. Where is like the explanation? We just need a better explanation. And we shouldn't have to ask for it. Like the minute skipping, it should have been like announced, like the reason for that minute skipping like should have been announced when they released this video. And
yeah, I mean, they just waited until someone decided to watch the whole video all the way through.
Yeah, like this. Like, did they
no
not
one's
even
going
watch
to
it?
do that?
Did they not even know that there was a minute that skipped in there? Like when they released this?
They were working on this for a month and a half, Cash Patel said.
Yeah, so how do you not notice that minute skipping? So that's weird. It's like they just have an intern in the FBI or something that's like in charge of the Epstein stuff. They're like, all right, bro, this is your case, deal with it. And it's just like some new guy that's like, okay, this is the video I have. I'll just release that. Everything should be fine. And then,
you know, that could also be another play, is to, it was an incompetent worker or whatever, and he accidentally deleted the only file we had left, so we'll never see it again. You'll never have that 1 minute because some random intern you'll never know is the reason why, or some bullshit like that. Let's find a scapegoat.
Yeah, right. It could be something like that. That would be funny. I think that's the end of the Epstein update. You got any more takes?
No, other than it's not surprising that we don't get a clear answer to this. Donald Trump presidency has been nothing but a disappointment at this point.
Yeah, I disagree with that, but this is definitely a hard, like, he's gonna make some enemies like out of his base. Like this is something that like his base really thought he was gonna pull through on. I think he didn't upset just like liberals with this. He upset like everyone with this. So it's like a different kind of disappointment.
Everyone should be upset. It's the elites being the elites.
This isn't a win. That's the best way to put it. This isn't a win for Trump.
You should be mad. Get mad.
Yeah, I don't know about get mad, but you should be asking questions. Like, if you see all this evidence and you're convinced, like, you know what happened to Epstein, leave a comment. Like, let us know, because this video honestly only just made me ask more questions. It's more questions than answers.
Definitely.
Changing topics here, we got to talk about Trump getting nominated for another Nobel Peace Prize. So I think that brings the count up to 3 or 4 just within the last couple of weeks here. So this is Netanyahu nominating Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize because Netanyahu started a war with Iran and Trump finished it for Israel. That's why he should get the Peace Prize.
Let's get the Peace Prize because we dropped bombs on Iran.
Yeah, so that's
nothing ironic there.
Yeah, it's very ironic to be nominated for a Peace Prize for peace through strength, I guess. That's what it is here. You're welcome for that. But it's funny because you think Nobel Peace Prize, oh, you made a huge cancer research breakthrough or saved a bunch of lives, which I guess here you can make the argument that he saved lives by not being peaceful. So in a way that makes him peaceful. But let's watch it. This is fun. Check it out.
I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well deserved, and you should get it.
Well deserved. He might be right there. There is an argument.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know. Wow.
This I didn't know.
Thank you very much. Coming from you in particular, this is very meaningful. Thank you very much, BB.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
BB. Thank you, BB.
Great honor.
So that was amazing. Love to see that. That's the kind of content you don't get with other presidents. Trump tries really hard to get this Nobel Peace Prize. Then once he gets it, he'll be able to say he's officially better than Obama. So I'm rooting for him. You go get him, Trump. You can do it. Get that Nobel Peace Prize. He also got nominated for one for the the India-Pakistan conflict. He got nominated for one there. He got nominated for one for a couple other things, just dealing with conflicts between other nations. But he probably won't get one.
Well, definitely did do better than Barack Obama and increasing the wars from 2 to 7 and still getting a Peace Prize. So
yeah, it's funny stuff. Yeah, they kind of just gave Barack Obama one right when he became president. So it's
and we bombed Syria so much that we ran out of bombs in the United States. They gave that guy a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, so you think about that. I think it is interesting. And the obvious reason Trump doesn't have one is just because he's mean and the mainstream media doesn't like him. No, I mean it's true. If he was more composed, as you would say, like Obama, and he wasn't so hurtful with the things that he says, to his political opponents, he probably would have got a Nobel Peace Prize. Or if he was a Democrat, he probably would have got one also. But he's none of those things. And so he's not going to get one really. I don't think it matters what he does at this point. He's just not going to get one. And so it's almost just a running joke because every couple weeks recently, he's been just getting nominated for one. And everyone's people do want to get him a Nobel Peace Prize, but he just never gets them. It's so funny. Last topic, we just have an ICE update. We were covering this a couple days ago. This was in Texas, where a guy shot a cop in the neck. There was him and a group of people. These are some of the mugshots here. And they showed up to an ICE facility in Texas with body armor, guns, ammo. And they were looking to kill some ICE agents. We see their mugshots here. Basically what I want to go over is just all these fake headlines that say ICE is just kidnapping random people and deporting them. You got riots in the streets of LA, but the Democratic politicians they took forever to even admit that there was violence, and they were just calling them peaceful protests when cops are getting attacked. And all this rhetoric just kind of it turns people extreme, people that believe it, and people that haven't seen ICE do raids like this before. And also this is when you decide to be so lax on immigration and then come in and kind of cold turkey just turn the switch on, start protecting the border and deporting people, you're going to get some pushback. Even it doesn't matter if you agree that all these deportations should happen or not, but it did happen suddenly. The media doesn't like it. Left-leaning people don't like it. And this is kind of what's happening because of it. But at the end of the day, these are like, I don't even know what you call them. Yo, turn your sound down. I can hear you like
Oh, can you hear
a
that?
little bit, yeah.
Oh,
I don't even know what you call these people. Someone who attempts to kill like a federal agent. Anyway,
mentally ill.
yeah, well, yeah, but are they like terrorists or just like gunmen, extremists?
I don't know if they're.
Yeah, I
I
don't,
mean, it's honestly, it's an extreme action, yeah, but like,
yeah, I don't know what you call them.
um,
Terrorist?
yeah, I guess it would be considered some form of terrorist,
Yeah, I don't
like
know.
terrorism, like I mean, and they're ICE, so I'm sure you could find like some form of like federal terroristic acts against federal agents or something like that.
Yeah, something. But we got people like these. It's actually illegal. It's actually illegal to like assault a federal agent, like an ICE officer or even a police officer. That's not okay. I think a lot of people might think it's okay because they see like Newsom on Twitter and all that saying like, "Oh, ICE, get out! You're making the situation in LA worse. You're escalating things. Like it's not the rioters' fault." You got rhetoric like that, and you got like, "Oh, Americans are like fleeing the country to get away from Trump because he's a Nazi and there's concentration camps." Like you just have like the media overblowing everything, and you have people that like don't really understand what's going on, and they just see all those headlines and believe it. And this is kind of what happens. You get like a gang of guys that show up with guns trying to like kill ICE agents. It's kind of crazy. This one was just a good example. There are more examples. I got one more, but I wanted to talk about this one because we have the mugshots and it's 10 people. It's just surprising that like 10 people could be organized like this without getting noticed.
Well,
Like
I
how
mean,
were
they
they
could use
communicating and stuff? Yeah,
right.
yeah, they must have been really like cautious about what they like said in public or who they shared their opinions with. Because like how did no one pick up that like, oh, all my friends are gonna go, they got a bunch of guns in the car, they're gonna go do something. They've been saying they want to kill ICE agents for the last week.
Get in, loser. We're gonna go shoot ICE agents.
Yeah, like I feel like someone had to have known and like didn't report it. And people need to realize that like this kind of stuff, like it doesn't just happen for no reason. I'm sure they like plotted it, talked about it for a long time. And yeah, like you said, they probably were like using like Telegram or like a secure like messaging app or something. But it is almost surprising to me that like there had to have been like people that they knew that were also friends with these people that like weren't involved in this, and like it would surprise me that those people like didn't know anything, or like how did like the FBI not pick up on this? Because like they kind of stop a lot of things like these from happening. They like get embedded with like terrorist cells or like militias that might turn out to be like extreme or doing illegal stuff or like biker gangs. Well, it turns out I think the FBI needs to figure out were these people organized? Were they like part of like a
I
church
think
or
I think
something?
the FBI knows exactly about these people, and in my opinion, my
Yeah.
own personal opinion, I think the FBI lets these things kind of happen. If they happen organically, I think the FBI knows about them because I'm sure in the coming days we'll hear the famous saying, "The shooter slash shooters were known in quotation marks to the FBI," and so I think that they might have known. Obviously, I think if they knew something was going to happen, there's a chance they could have intervened. But in most cases, they kind of just let it play out, or they are a pushing factor in some of those cases.
Yeah, maybe. That's a good conspiracy theory, and it just brings it back to kind of what I wanted to say. We will definitely be following the story because I'm so curious about these people. Because like I've seen some memes already, like, oh, it's just a group of like Reddit mods. Like, I think it's like, yeah, it's a group of like Reddit mods. It's a group of like a Discord server or
I
something.
don't know. A lot of those people look like they don't have enough weight on them to be a Reddit mod.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a group of they're like a group, like for sure. But where? Like where did they like communicate? Is kind of what I'm really curious to find that out. And so just we have like another source. So this is like a different event in Texas. This guy here, Ryan Luis, he like shot a ICE agent. Oh, he shot 3 Border Patrol employees. And then he ended up dying. He got shot dead. And it looks like the Border Patrol people that got shot are not dead. So that's good. Oh, it's 2 officers and 1 Border Patrol employee that got shot. Then there was a gunfight. This guy ends up dying. And it's just another example of like people actually attacking federal agents and police like in this country, which is not a good thing. You don't want that happening. Kind of been covering instances like this on the channel since the LA riots. That's kind of all this stuff really just goes back to the LA riots. And then here's just a statistic. Attacks on ICE agents up nearly 700%, which is not good, but kind of funny because every couple of weeks I'll see this statistic again. It was like, at first it was like, oh, they're up 100, like 50%. Then it was like 400%. Now it's 700%. So it just keeps going up, which is not good, but we're going to kind of follow that on the channel. So subscribe if you want more topics like the ones we went over today. Check us out on Twitch. We do these episodes live, which is great because if you have anything you want us to cover that's like related to what we're going over, send it to us. Maybe we'll check it out. If you got a hot take, definitely let us know. This Wednesday, we will be going over the Big Beautiful Bill. We're going to do a big, beautiful breakdown of the Big Beautiful Bill. It'll be the one-stop shop for all your Big Beautiful Bill information. We'll actually go through all of it. That will be exciting, and it will probably take a while. And have a good night.